Make Believe is more or less universally looked at as the beginning of Weezer's major downfall. I mean, let's be honest, 2005 to 2010 really sucked for them. And this was the first example of that. Okay, I like Beverly Hills. I'll get that out of the way. I like Beverly Hills. It's not that bad of a song to me. I mean, admittedly, as soon as the song starts up, when you're listening to all these in order, you can tell this isn't the same Weezer as the first 4 albums. You know, something has changed. Something has evolved in them over that couple years where they kind of disappeared. But that's fine, you know, the first track on the album is okay. You know, it was a major hit single, enjoyable song, you know, I'm not that critical of it. It's the rest of the CD that's the problem. See, the major issue I have with Make Believe, and this didn't apply to the prior albums at all, Rivers is so fucking whiny. Oh my god, he just turned so emo for this album. I mean, the songs are all about whining about how painful love is, or you know, when it's more positive lyrics, he's just overly sentimental. But at the absolute worst, if you were dating this guy, I mean, would you stick with someone this clingy? Listen to Hold Me. That song just... oh god. I mean, this song literally represents a guy like down on his knees just wailing, just begging for attention. I mean, this kind of sounds like a concept album by a guy who was going through a divorce or something. And emotions aside, okay, We Are All on Drugs isn't that bad of a song, except that it resembles like the grade school playground diarrhea song. Was that intentional? I mean, you could literally end every line in that song with diarrhea. I mean, did anyone notice this when... yeah, fuck it, move on. So things got a little better with the Red album. You know, it's not 100% solid. This album has a lot of flaws to it, but it's not as bad as Make Believe. You know, I don't mind that this is a color album. I don't mind having it sit alongside Green and Blue. There is some really bad material, but there's some really strong material too. You know, this album has Dreamin', that's a great song. It has Pork and Beans, which not only is a great song, it had that fantastic music video with all the YouTube stars. And it has The Greatest Man That Ever Lived, which a lot of fans seem to look at as sort of a modern-day Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, we've talked about the good songs now. The problems with the Red album. The lyrics on this album are just lazy as hell at times. I mean, Troublemaker is one of them, obviously. I mean, I'm not going to be the first one to point out the line about marrying a biatch and having 7 Keods. The fuck, Rivers, Keods? Then we come to Hard Songs. I hate this song. Okay, let me make a comparison here. One of fans' least liked Weird Al songs is Syndicated Incorporated, because they find that it's the laziest of his TV songs. You know, it's mainly just a list of TV shows. That's kind of the problem with Hard Songs. I mean, Hard Songs is basically just, here's some songs that this guy enjoys, and he's just gonna list them in an order that kind of sounds good together, but not really. And the absolute worst part of the song, and this is why I definitely pointed out the lazy songwriting, that line where he claims Debbie Gibson saying, "I think we're alone now." Now, I might be wrong, but I think Rivers has even said he knew that was incorrect at the time, but didn't bother to fix it. I mean, come on, man. You could have so easily put Tiffany's name in that line instead and still have it fit the rhythm of the line. Man, that bugs the crap out of me. Now, bashing aside, one more thing I do like about the Red album is that once it hits the halfway point, Rivers kind of takes a back seat. You know, you start to hear songs sung by the other members of the band, which is really uncommon and doesn't really happen again after this album. But it ends up being one of the album's major strengths because it stops sounding like Weezer. I mean, it starts getting into songs where if someone told you it was Weezer, you would kind of do a double take at it. And I have to say, too, because a lot of different versions of this album came out, all with different bonus tracks. The bonus tracks are actually really cool. I like the covers, The Wait, Life Is What You Make It. I do have to point out, though, a couple bonus tracks, Pig and The Spider, which are both, like, so maudlin, they almost sound like they're meant to be funny. And I know those songs have their fan bases. To each their own. But I'll be honest in saying that The Spider is the sappiest, whiniest song I have ever heard in my life, and if it was on Make Believe, you know, it would have fit right in. okay, we're about 3 years into the Weezer slump now, and we're at Ratitude.